You're on mute, Matt.
Welcome everyone to Speaking Sovereign. We all have things that we need to get over in our life, special challenges. And today we are talking about wealth. All right, we have a wonderful guest with us today to speak about being sovereign in wealth and specifically opulence. So as always, I have Maria with me. Hello, Maria.
Hello, good to be back.
Good to be back. Is opulence important to sovereign wealth or in sovereign wealth? We're exploring the magic embedded in opulence, decadence, and the richness of the sensory life. And we have the perfect special guest for this occasion. She is a Hollywood makeup artist. And this sovereign master started as a makeup artist in Denmark in 2004, followed by an education, training, and experience in entrepreneurship. Using these skills, she traveled to Hollywood in 2006 and began teaching and mentoring the world in makeup and special effects. She raised new upcoming talent as makeup artists, performers, and behind-the-scene talents. To this day, she works with models, actors, and music artists to prepare them for music videos, concerts, interviews, photo ops, award shows like the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, the Golden Globe, and the list goes on. That's super opulent, I think. That's absolutely wonderful. Kat has been mentored by legendary makeup artists and become friends with top artists in fashion and entertainment. She understands the meaning of opulence as it translates across fields, including politicians, activists, designers, rebels, Maria, rock stars, business owners, reality TV talent, therapists, journalists, producers, rappers, painters, performance artists, and the list goes on. Now that sounds like a truly opulent life. And we would like to welcome to Speaking Sovereign, Kat Lieberkind. Hello, Kat.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here.
That resume, what you are doing is fantastic. As fantastic. Every time I read it, I just get bubbles, like my background, the effervescence. It just bubbles up.
I know. I would have never imagined it, and still now to this day, I almost can't believe that I did all that. I never know. I never knew that would have been a possibility for me, coming from Denmark and not knowing anybody in Los Angeles or entertainment industry. But looking back, it's been incredible.
We are talking about being sovereign in wealth, right? And specifically opulence. Now, as a makeup artist, you look for the beauty that already exists, right? And you enhance that. Let's talk about that, but let's also talk about if you can do that with makeup and with beauty and enhancing people and uplifting people, surely we can do that in other areas, right, Maria and Kat?
Absolutely. So usually either I do both beauty makeup and special effects makeup. So when I come to work, sometimes I'm getting somebody more beautiful than they already are, enhancing the beauty that they have by doing beauty makeup, as we know traditionally. And sometimes when let's say it's a film set, it's more creating a character. And in some ways it's still transformation. Maybe the person needs to look older or become a different personality. And so makeup can do that as well. And it's interesting because in both cases, I see how the person, as I'm working with them, the talent I'm working and doing makeup for, I see them transform as they start to see themselves becoming this other character. And obviously it's my job to work with them and make decisions together about who this is that we're bringing forth. And also doing beauty makeup, usually people have an idea of what they perceive as beauty and what looks good on them, but it's also my judgment to kind of see the light that is in them and see the beautiful characteristics that I think that we can bring forward so that they become even more obvious, and so that the personality can be brought up more, and so they shine more. And when they see themselves in the mirror looking that way, it also seems to they seem to become more aware of it themselves, and it does lift the energy, it does lift the vibration, and it makes them ready to go out there and perform. I don't really envy them going in front of thousands and thousands of people. It takes a lot of guts, and you have to really bring it, and we have to all work together so that they can feel ready and go out there and be enough on stage, right? Because we want to feel enough. Even if we are ready, just bring it out. And we can do it in other, you said, if we can do it in other parts of our life as well.
Yeah, if we can do it, if you can uplift somebody sitting in a chair and making your magic while speaking to them, and if they can be uplifted in that situation, then surely we can transfer that to our everyday lives.
Yeah. Oh, let's say somebody's been on tour and they haven't had enough sleep. If I can make them feel that they had enough sleep because I make them look like they had enough sleep, suddenly they don't feel so tired.
Oh, the tricks of Hollywood.
And it works. It works for everybody. It works for me too. So, and I think that's the same thing. It's just a little bit like even out the bump, so to speak. Like even in your life, like I really thought about this too in my just everyday life. Clearing a little bit out the clutter, clearing out the chaos, just getting the things that suck our energy, get those things sorted, whether it's a messy drawer or it's a messy bed, or it makes the room, it makes the room better, it makes the energy better, it makes you feel like, you have more energy. And it's, you can create opulence, right? That's what we're talking about. You can create that in your room, doesn't matter where you at.
By adding the beauty to things, or instead of adding to the beauty, what do you think about this, Maria? Instead of adding to the beauty, almost what Kat does is kind of bringing out or enhancing of the beauty that's already there, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
I keep thinking, because we're in this series of wealth, and when it comes to this beautifying things that are around us or ourselves, or there's so many, well, we can have a lot of judgments and ideas about whether or not it's fair to do it, or whatever. We have cultural programmings and ideas what it must look like and stuff, but I keep coming back to, in my mind, and also preparing for this, been thinking about, there's this saying like, true beauty comes from the inside. And I mean, of course, we all know, we when we remember I am that I am, and that light is what that is, but in this manifest world and in this everyday life that we are living, I'm beginning to think that we can actually create from the outside in. I thought about the example of living in the tent, making the bed. It wasn't even a bed. It wasn't even a bed. It was some mattresses and or like our sleeping bags. But I put our bed cover over it, and I put our angel on there, and we had our tiny little things that was like home, and we swept the floor every day, and it I mean, the feeling and the sense of, this is our home. It's a beautiful home. And now the same things are in the apartment where we live now, and we have a real bed, and we have, a completely different setting. But the feeling that I have about it, it's like, this is our beautiful home. And that was the feeling in the tent too. So I'm beginning to think, if we can create that, and if we can choose to know beauty, then we can choose to know wealth, health, abundance, everything. I mean, it's not just this, oh, it comes from the inside, so I don't have to care about what it looks. It's vanity to care about what it looks on the outside. We can actually enhance and enhance that by working from the outside and in.
Absolutely. I think also that when you're talking about vanity and beauty coming from the inside, it's obvious beauty comes up from the inside, but we can also enjoy it and appreciate it and have fun with it. And it's the energy of that that makes a difference between whether it's vanity, because vanity to me doesn't sound like somebody enjoying what they have. It sounds like wanting more and not being satisfied. But like you're saying, enjoying the bed, whether it's in the tent or whether it's in the luxury apartment, and enhancing what that means, right? Enhancing the room, enhancing the sheet, and having a good time with it, enjoying it, appreciating it, and feeling the opulence of it.
Yeah,
it's not about judging that it's in a tent and that's not opulent somehow, because we don't need to judge that.
yeah, that's absolutely right. You know, and being in this series, being sovereign in wealth, I think both of you have absolutely nailed it. And I'm just sitting here listening and going, yeah, joy is the currency, isn't it? You know, I think that right now it just dropped, you know, and that might be one of my core values, is the opulence of life, right?
Right.
Maybe I've always turned away from the opulence of life because I felt that it was vain to seek better and better and better and better. But coming from where I was at the time, maybe that was true. So being in love, being in joy with the things that you have around you, and bringing out that beauty of the things that you have around you, this lovely plant on my desk, you know, the birds chirping in the background, instead of going, be quiet, silly birds, you know, you're like, oh, how it adds to my day. You know, and it's the little things, like you said, it's the sweeping, you know, of your front step, you know, to welcome your visitors. It's the, you know, the painting of your mailbox. It's the walking around and waving at somebody. You know, it's those little things that it's like little drops of opulence, right? Boop, boop. And then the beauty just, you know, it grows and grows. You know, my girls watch, I might watch them more, those little Tinkerbell movies on Disney. Love them. I think they're very well done. But Zarina in the Pirate Fairy, she says 26 drops, no more, no less. And she's dropping these little blue elixirs of life, you know, into this sea of adamantine particles, really. And it, every time it drops, it expands and it expands, and it's like this pulsing of the earth, bringing us opulence and bringing us beauty. And, you know, if you put more than that in, it will overflow, right? And in that movie, it was a bad thing for it to overflow, but we want it to fill our cup and overflow, and then we can refill it and it can overflow, and then we can refill it. So yeah, both of you, it's absolutely fantastic. You know, the opulence of life, I think, are those little drips.
And also the creativity of it, right? Like the joy of, like we talked about, you can choose what that means to you. So when I see a client, they might want something that isn't the typical stereotypical glamour look, but we're having fun with it. And what matters is that the end result is fun and what we like. And you know, like in that way you can choose also in other things than makeup what that opulence is to you. You know, the angel that Maria was mentioning, and you know, like it doesn't have to be something stereotypical, and doesn't have to be the same every day. You can have fun with it. To me, beauty is also creativity and innovation and inspiration, all the things that really heightens the energy and the vibration.
I think creativity is the life force energy. I've been working with this with the clients and in different things for years, and especially for working with women and releasing all that creativity and that womb power and stuff like that. But of course we all have that. We all have that life force energy moving through us, and when we release that into creativity and into creating something beautiful, it just it overflows, and we can share it. I had this idea because now we're all, you're talking about your work in Hollywood and in Los Angeles, and both me and Matt are currently in the States. And to me, coming from Sweden, and I mean, we have this Nordic background, and this is like different worlds when it comes to, or at least that this is my feeling and my experience, that it is more allowed here to be opulent, to show signs of wealth and richness and abundance and beauty and everything like that. It's more okay. It feels more welcomed and okay to do that here, to take up that space and to claim, like, yeah, look at my success, or look at my beauty, rather than in the Nordic countries, more you shouldn't take up all that space. You shouldn't really talk about, you shouldn't really show how well you are doing. It's like you almost have to downscale if you feel really happy and you meet someone in the grocery store and they say, yeah, how's life, and you're like, yeah, well, it's okay. You can't like be that's my experience, and I'm stereotyping a little bit, but it's clear to me that there's a huge cultural difference. So what's your experience, Kat?
I agree. And I mean, it's not like America is unlimited either, right? Like there's jealousy everywhere. There is the feeling that somebody feels less than if you're more than. But I see it, and I choose to really focus on, it's kind of like the 4-minute mile, right? If you can go out there and show an example of something that has never been seen before, or is more opulent than anything else, or you're a star in your own right in some way, you can also be a huge inspiration. And that's usually why we love Hollywood. Like, we love people that are a little bit extra, because it would be really boring to watch somebody who's like yourself or your neighbor or anybody else in your town. And so I think Hollywood actually opens a door for breaking those boundaries and letting people let it all out, and then be entertained by it, whether they like it or don't. It doesn't really matter to the people. In that moment they won't know, obviously, but I think it's a little bit of like a self-image or self-worth issue, or I think that we can, for someone who's going to go out there and perform or break rules in some way, just for them it's important to think about it as being a role model or rebel or icon of that particular thing, as opposed to thinking about all the judgments, because you can't ever please everybody. If you're doing something amazing or big, somebody's gonna judge it somehow. You can never please everybody, but you can impress a lot of people too, and you can impress yourself, and really compete with yourself more than anybody else. Like, not worry about that.
Yeah, because yes, and that's what I wanted to get to. Like, we might have to break some cultural barriers and our own too, maybe.
Right.
And in the sovereign way, we have the tools to deal with that, of course. But it can feel like, oof, a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like a stretch, but yeah, do it. And because I think that when we do that, when we show up in the world at our best, that is what we bring forth, right? We will magnify that. So all of a sudden, the things that we see around us isn't like limiting things, or we can choose to know the world as a beautiful place where I'm allowed to expand, and where I'm allowed to be all that I am and more, to become more all the time. And I think that the thing is to start to act, and to start to know that this is who I am, and this is how I present myself to the world, and this is how I create beauty, and all that will just magnify.
Absolutely. And I can draw a parallel back to working with more up and coming talent, where you get ready and you don't exactly have everything on the resume that you would like yet, but you have to push yourself to the limit of your capacity, because you get one shot usually, right? So if you don't show up with 100% of what you have to deliver, you might not get noticed the way that you would like, and you build from there. So there's no need not to. You start at the top of where you can go at the moment, and then you build on top of that and build on top of that, and that's the only way that really you'll get the attention in Hollywood. So I think in some ways that's been some of the most inspiring, that it encouraging bringing your excellence. And it's everyone, right? So when you show up as a team working on a project, there's a saying, you're only as good as your last project, whether it's the last makeup you did, or the last movie you did, or the last performance you did. And it keeps you in the now, and it keeps you being able to bring more, and not let yourself limit by what other people think. Or yeah, you have to get over your insecurities in the world, really.
So with that said, how do we get over those insecurities? So the opulence of waking up every single day, and instead of waking up saying, thank you, Lord, for letting me wake up. This is a beautiful day. It's raining outside, but it's going to be amazing. Thank you for the water, watering my plants. It's like that instant praise and joy that you're in. We usually don't start our day with it. Most people. If you ask them, they will, walk around, and here we go. The ultimate, I stubbed my toe in the morning, and the rest of my day was not very good. So I want to say, I think the thing that stops people is it seems silly, right? You wake up and you say, I don't need to say thank you for the day. That seems silly. I'll just go about my day. But now we're missing little drops of opulence, right? Now we're missing the ability to fill our cup up very quickly and live in opulence, and be in that band, right? And then we have to kind of fight our way back most days. So what are some of the things you do first thing when you wake up in order to kind of refresh and revive and start your day? And then we'll wrap up with this. So the first thing you do when you wake up to be opulent.
Well, for me, I have established a morning routine that I look forward to every day. So getting out of bed, whether it's that special tea that I like, or special breakfast that I make every day, or and also, like wellness, like the shower, or the soap, or this whatever it is that feels opulent, the smell, perfume, or those things. But I also really, like, for me, I really remind myself how lucky I am I get to do this, whatever, like the job that I'm going to do. For me, because I work freelance, nothing is a given. There's no hamster wheel feeling. It's more it's a new challenge every single day, and it's a new and it's a new exciting project that's going to be inspiring and requiring me to bring my best, which the one thing that I also really like is, aside from also being grateful for the small things, the inspiration and the feeling, the motivation about your day, and bringing that creativity into your day, whatever that means to you, is really like that to me. Getting in this creative space where I feel motivated, I get ideas, I feel in this flow state where I'm exactly in the now, creating something exciting that I've never created before. That to me is one of the biggest joys too. So I think that that really brings in the luxury and opulence of life. I'm so grateful for having that kind of lifestyle, and it doesn't work for everybody, but I think whatever that means for each person, to have that inspiration, feeling that sense of purpose and feeling that sense of meaning, and they're creating it every day in their life. I think that's super important.
Amen. Maria?
Yeah, I am lucky enough to be waking up next to my 3.5-year-old boy with his arms around my neck, and sometimes I have to remind myself to be extremely grateful for that, because sometimes it's early, but when he's out of the way, actually the first minutes of my awake time every day, I give to God. And that I have been doing for some time, and actually probably longer than I've realized, because I haven't had that wording for it, and I haven't had that like idea. But I spend that time grounding in, back to me. Here I am in my body. Thank you. We communicate a little bit about the day and stuff. But now I've actually begun to draw that more and more into my day. And this wealth series has done that for me, to bring me into more appreciation of every moment. Not this, oh, thank you, Lord, for giving me this day. Thank you, because that can kind of become some sort of empty word thing, right? So bringing me more into appreciation of, oh, coffee, yeah, and the joy, and like we talked about in the teaching, and we talked about in the group, blessing everything. Like, thank you, oh, bless this food, oh, this nutritious food that I'm receiving this, to be in this receiving state. That has been like the side effect of me communicating so intimate with God first thing. I think that has been for me a key, to have that flow into the rest of the day, and to get out of the pajamas.
Beautiful, beautiful drops of opulent knowledge from both of you. Thank you very much. And we are at our time. Thank you very much for joining us today, Kat and Maria. And thank you for engaging with us on such a high level. You are both truly opulent. Have a wonderful day. And before we go, if you're a member of the Oasis, tomorrow we have rescheduled our drop-in time, our drop-in life coaching time at 12 EST, and we have moved it to Friday, 12 EST. So if you're a member of the Oasis, please join us on Friday for our drop-in session. If you are not a member of the Oasis and you would wish to get in onto our group deep dive study sessions, get in touch with Maria or myself, and we can get you in there, no problem. The reason we are rescheduling our drop-in session tomorrow is that our team, Maria, myself, and Elizabeth, are going to film our book trailer. If you can see right here, we have a new book coming out. Pre-sales will be open in November. The book is The Sovereign Way to Know God, a book of mastery and devotion. And this has been in the works for a long time. Elizabeth has been working nonstop on this, editing and writing and meditating and praying over this for a long time, and it is coming to fruition. So be ready. It will be available in December in time for Christmas. Put it on all of your wish lists. I want to finish with this. Remember to be intimate with wealth. Be intimate with it. The exquisite delight of sharing. Beauty is God. Diamonds and silk and ladybirds and cotton, rust and primordial soup. Beauty is God's body, and if you can see it, then you are in it. Call the world to share and become intimate, and you will see the world change. That is from the teaching on Monday from Elizabeth. Thank you very much. We are Speaking Sovereign. Good night.